Welcome to the Noka News Network. I'm Ricky French. That's Dan Colley.
Hey, everyone.
Great to be back with you again this week. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up, Dan. What are we looking at?
At the top of the hour here, we're going to talk about, some turkey talk.
Turkey talk.
We're going to talk about what's going on in China. We're going to talk about a new gang presence in Miami and the metal news.
Noka News Network, the news no one cares about. Speaking of news no one cares about, let's start things off with a couple stories about turkeys. How about that?
Shouldn't we have done that in November?
Yeah, well, it's mating season, so I guess they're acting up.
Uh-oh.
This one comes out of St. Louis County, Missouri. Meteorologist Jamie Travers' husband, Evan, learned a valuable lesson about exercising caution around turkeys and geese as we approach the mating season. Evan Travers was outside filling the bird feeder when he spotted a flock of turkeys. There were 9 hens and a very large and beautiful tom.
Mm-hmm.
The tom became aggressive while Evan was taking pictures. I thought for sure they'd run away after I started taking pictures of them, but the big tom turkey actually started getting closer to me, Evan said. The tom was coming too close for comfort. The next thing you know, it fluffs up its feathers and gets big, he said.
Whoa.
Yeah, it starts coming towards me, and my first thought was, I'm going to get big and maybe scare it off. You know, what do I know?
I know, I'll scare this turkey myself.
And it just keeps coming, so I turn and run. He ran from the backyard to the garage, but he didn't have time to get the garage door open. So I just keep running, Evan said, and quickly look around to see if any of my neighbors are seeing the idiot being chased by a turkey. He was chased all the way back to where it started, and he made it inside of the screened-in porch. When I close the screen behind me, it's right there, and it's gobbling at me and fluffing up his feathers. Turkey mating season begins in spring. Dan Zarlinga, a spokesman for the Missouri Department of Conservation, says the turkeys typically aren't aggressive, but under the right circumstances, they can be.
Yeah, so don't take pictures of turkeys while they're out there trying to get their turkey love on, I guess you could say. Was the tom like the he was the man, the large and in charge boss of the other turkeys?
Showed the guy what's up.
Speaking of turkeys, Donna McDonald, an office manager in Fair Oaks, California, had a rather unruly and unexpected office visitor the other day. While Miss McDonald was working alone at the Gregory Haley DDS, she heard a loud crash and initially thought it was an earthquake. She soon realized that the real reason was a wild turkey. The turkey had broken...
I love wild turkey.
I know. I see your mug. The turkey had broken into the patient consult area via a window. After calling animal control, she was referred to the Gold County Wildlife Rescue, and the large, possibly delicious bird was removed. But don't worry, folks. The turkey was reported to be not seriously injured and will be released back into the wild.
Well, as delicious as they are not... they aren't licensed to do dentistry, so it's probably good that they got them out of there. I think they might be licensed to do. How should I know?
It could have just been a dental assistant trying to find work in today's rough economy.
Yeah. Speaking of rough, this zoo in China tries to pass off a dog as a wolf. I saw a photo of it, too. It was actually a Rottweiler. It looked nothing like a wolf.
At least it wasn't a Chihuahua. I guess I'll give him credit for that.
Zoo in central China has raised eyebrows this week after it was caught seemingly trying to pass off a dog as a wolf. Social media footage appeared on Tuesday showing a visitor to the Xinwushan Zoo.
Very well done.
In Zhening, Hubei province. All that was probably wrong. Visiting the zoo's wolf enclosure. He filmed an animal that looked like a Rottweiler lying on its side in a cage and said to the animal, "Woof, are you a wolf?" in a short video that has since gone viral.
The wolf went, "Nah, man, you dumbass. I'm a dog."
Clearly, I'm a dog, sir. It's led to a lot of jokes online and sparked some debate about whether zoos are necessary in a post-COVID era, with many voicing concerns about their maintenance. I don't know what COVID has to do with zoo. I mean, obviously gathering people together, but why does it mean you want to outlaw zoos all of a sudden?
I don't know, but I did see a story about some apes getting the COVID vaccine in California, I believe. Maybe they need to start vaccinating the animals?
No, I don't know.
I want to see him vaccinate a turtle. It just pull itself back in the shell. It breaks needles. Can't get to it.
The man who filmed the footage told Beijing News that he asked staff at the park why there was a dog in a wolf's cage. He was told that there had been a wolf, but it died of old age.
Don't worry about just getting a new wolf. Just get Spot down the road, stick him in there. Say it's fine.
An employee confirmed this to local media and said that the dog, which had been raised as a watchdog by the park, was only being kept there temporarily. What is this, a junkyard? Do they have Rottweilers watching it? But as the Shine.cn news website notes, he also did hint that the zoo had been financially struggling and said they didn't have enough visitors to keep the zoo up and running. The park, which charges 15 yen and also keeps lions and tigers, has now been told by the local forestry bureau to remove the sign leading to the enclosure. The incident sparked a lot of discussion online, and many users on the popular Sino Weibo, I don't think that's correct, microblog, what even is a microblog, say that it has given them a good laugh, although others say that they are shocked and it actually makes them a little sad. At least get a husky, one user says, noting that the breed would look more like a wolf.
Oh, geesh. So what you're telling me is in China, they are using dogs instead of the other animal that they're claiming it is.
Yeah. That was a real veiled reference to the
All right, so let's go to another animal story. This time in South Florida, a Miami man was attacked in his backyard recently by an iguana. Well, iguana encounters are pretty common in South Florida, but usually the animal will just run off. This time it stayed and it fought. The thing that really makes this one strange, Ricky, is that the iguana was wearing a red bandana.
Okay.
This could be the sign. This could just be the start of a vicious turf war. And the iguana was just representing a new and dangerous gang of iguana street toughs.
Man, hopefully there aren't any iguanas around with blue bandanas on. You have a real problem on your hands.
It'd be an iguana street war. The iguana's owner actually lived next door, retrieved the animal, and there was no word on any injuries at this time. Lucky the iguana didn't have like a switchblade and whipped it out on the guy and started shanking him right there in the backyard. If we didn't think things were bad enough, now we have iguana street gangs running around.
Things are getting weird. They've been getting weird.
Yeah, if 2020 wasn't weird enough, here we go.
What? You got something else for me, Dan?
Oh, I suppose I can come up with something real quick. How about some metal news? Hey, Ricky, you like beer? I like beer. Craft beer has gotten weird, Ricky. Super frickin' weird. These 3 local breweries and a dive school in Argentina tried again to age beer underwater. These dipshits lowered 7 barrels of high ABV dark beer 65 feet down into a Soviet-era shipwreck called the Chronometer. Divers went to check it the day before they were going to retrieve it, and their waterlogged logger was missing. They believe vandals cut the mooring ropes and vandalized it just to be a bunch of assholes. I hope there's a drunk-ass octopus in Argentina laughing his ass off at the fools for providing the best aquatic kegger in history.
You would have to be an asshole to cut the mooring ropes.
I know. First of all, who comes up with the idea of dropping barrels underwater to age them like it's going to make a difference? And B, who knew and went, hey, Steve, let's go cut these Maury barrels and get the beer. What kind of dumb shit's going on in Argentina?
Speaking of dumb shit, this is out of Texas.
Enough said. Next story. Texas dumb shit. Yes, go ahead.
A viral TikTok video shows a Whataburger customer getting served justice after cutting a long line during the winter storm.
And very bad food.
Yes. The internet is applauding a viral TikTok video that shows an entitled driver being kicked out of Whataburger after cutting in line. The footage, filmed during the historic Texas winter storm earlier in February, shows a red car pushing its way ahead of other customers who were patiently waiting to order food. Damn, that's a dick move. TikTok user Lauren1 says there's like 4 A's.
Obviously, it's TikTok.
Yeah, that red car got in and didn't wait in this line, and he got in. She's
apparently yes.
She really has a way with words, Lauren. The video, which has been liked nearly 140,000 times so far.
What's it like to have 100,000 likes on something online?
I wouldn't know. It then cuts into. I think the video then cuts to numerous customers pointing out the vehicle to a Whataburger employee. It's the red one, customer says. Kick them out. Moments later, the car is seen exiting the line as onlookers laugh. That's why you don't cut. Lauren1 adds. Fellow TikTok users shared in the celebration, weighing in on the matter in the video's comments. You know the rules. The people of Whataburger and the people who stand with Whataburger don't put up with that McDonald's behavior, he said.
No, that's that Bojangle shit right there. You just cut in line, do what you want to. Do you think this is a Rallies?
Others are rallies. That kind of behavior, you might be able to get away with that kind of behavior at a Crystal or a White Castle, which are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The only difference is one is a little more southern than the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All of this sort of behavior, I think that's why Rax went out of business. They couldn't handle it. Was chaos in the drive-through line.
Do you think it was the drive-through line and not the ever-present danger of the squirts that got Rax thrown out of contention?
I don't know what you're talking about. The BBC, the beef bacon.
The what?
The BBC, the beef bacon and cheddar.
Okay.
Is a delicious sandwich.
All right.
I wish I didn't have to drive to remote places like Circleville, Ohio to get one nowadays.
You know, speaking of possibly almost defunct restaurants, as a kid, we went to the Roy Rogers roast beef establishments.
Uh-huh.
The little children's seats.
Yeah.
Were the 4 posts and a barrel and a saddle that you sit on as a kid,
of course,
and would eat your roast beef sandwich and probably fall off. Bust your elbow open. Your dad would call you a sissy, put you back on top of the saddle, tell your mom to shut up because you're sure coddling the boy and make you eat the sandwich. I mean, probably that's what happened.
That's what happens at a Western themed restaurant. You got to toughen up.
You think they'd lasso you as you try to go to the salad bar?
I don't know what's with the Western thing. You know, Arby's has that too. Rax never got in on that thing either. The Western thing.
Arby's
like,
used to have the hat.
Doesn't have to be. Yeah, Arby's does. I'm saying Rax didn't.
Does Arby's still have the hat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I drove past an Arby's today on the way to the newsroom, and I saw like 4 cars in line, and I went, nope. I'm going to let them fly me a Jamocha shake in. I'm not actually waiting in line.
Yeah, so we're 2 for 2 on Arby's mentions.
We should get some Arby's sponsorship money pretty soon, shouldn't we?
We should.
I will tell you this, though. If you get on like the Instagram, Arby's Instagram is on point. They will do a lot of like nerd-themed Instagram posts where they will draw anime out with horsey sauce, and they will make paper mache out of their containers to Game of Thrones and all kinds of things I've seen on there. Check them out. Actually, follow them on Instagram and then follow us. I mean, we won't have anything on ours, but do it anyway. We need the numbers. What are some of the other defunct restaurants that you can think of?
Arthur Treacher's.
Yes, fish and chips. I've enjoyed their fare. once or twice.
Yeah, there was one in town here, but I was so young when it went out of business. I don't even remember. Like, I don't think I ever went there or anything.
Do you remember what was the one steakhouse that they used to make all the time? Not Ponderosa. Was it Bonanza? The Bonanza Steakhouse, I think.
Yeah, it sounds vaguely familiar.
I think there's one in Virginia where my buddy Charlie lives. I want to say it's Bonanza.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's that or Ponderosa.
Is it themed like the show Bonanza?
Well, it's kind of hillbilly in there, but it's in Virginia, so it's kind of hard to tell every once in a while the difference. But you know what? If they're going to do a Bonanza themed and a Ponderosa themed, how about a Gunsmoke themed restaurant? How about if we're going to go old school TV shows? Let's do a Sanford and Son hot dog stand, maybe.
Yeah, right.
And maybe a I don't know. I've got nothing else. I was trying.
I'll have a Lamont and a Grady, please. With a set for
I'll have the big dummy, please.
I'll have the big one, Elizabeth.
You would think that maybe a All in the Family restaurant would have survived, but in today's climate, it would have been canceled right away.
Certainly wouldn't have.
You could have had the. But that's how you have to order it when you get to the window.
Boy, we're really making a lot of references that nobody knows anything about it.
We'll just keep listening, then we're going to keep making more as we go.
I'm sure that we will. All right, moving on here. Apparently, Satan tried to get himself a date in the subway in Boston.
God, I want to hear Boston Satan so bad. hey, Dad, you want to go to the yard? We dig up some souls there. That's my really bad Boston accent.
Yeah, it is really bad. The Prince of Darkness is apparently looking for a date on the Boston subway system. City Transit Police said a 20-year-old woman approached them at the MBTA's Forest Hill station at about 10:45 p.m. Monday to complain about an encounter with a man dressed all in black, including a mask covering his entire face. The woman told the police the man typed something on his phone, and when he showed it to her, it said, "I am Satan." She pointed out the 22-year-old man who told officers he was only flirting, and he was trying to get her phone number.
The hell kind of pickup line is "I am Satan"?
I don't know. It's not as if women aren't rightfully afraid of men to begin with.
So, on behalf of all men, we would like to apologize for this creepy ass Satan guy.
Hey, what? Clearly, it didn't work. He wasn't even allowed to stay in the subway station anymore. They kicked him out.
I know. Did the story mention the man's last name being Massey?
No.
All right.
No,
well,
it didn't.
If that was the case, we might know who that was. Seriously though, who in the hell thinks that that's a good pickup line in the subway? I can appreciate that he was wearing a mask though and practicing social distancing. I guess
he was at least wearing a mask. The social distancing. Well,
he handed her the phone. He didn't actually get up on her, right? I mean,
but I guess the end result was a lot of social distance because she doesn't want anything to do with this weirdo.
Would you?
No, of course not.
What if you had I'd say that the gentleman was attractive. What if you had an attractive woman walk up to you in all black and hand you a phone that said, "I am Satan," or the female equivalent? Would you take her up on any offers at that point?
Well, I might. I would at least be interested because I wouldn't be afraid she was going to murder me like this lady was probably afraid of this dude.
You never know.
Right. Guess that's true.
Damn it, Boston. I would expect this behavior out of Baltimore, but not you, Boston.
I for years I've been certain that the devil lived in Baltimore, but apparently he's moving up the coast.
you would now see that only happens like this time of year because next week everyone there will be too hammered to know who Satan even is at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless Satan's crawling out of the back alley of a bar, you won't see him next week in Boston. So don't worry about that.
What do we got coming up, Dan?
Oh, let's see here what the old paper says. In the second segment, we're going to talk about the Welsh. A Welsh Tunnel.
We're going to talk about the Welsh.
We're going to talk about the Welsh.
Like we normally do.
Of course. Bottled air, a message in a bottle, a plumber, and we're going to talk about a flamethrower and a visit to the Florida Man.
Noka News podcast, the news no one cares about. We'll be right back after this. Are you into model trains? Well, I'm not, but if you are, I've got a great suggestion, and that's Scale Sound Systems. Scale Sound Systems offers aftermarket drop-in speaker systems, LED conversion kits, decoders, parts, and installation services for model trains. Scale Sound Systems is an authorized ESU, Soundtracks, and TCS dealer and offers the best-sounding HODCC speaker systems on the market. Find Scale Sound Systems on Facebook, visit YouTube for demonstration and installation videos, and visit them at scalesoundsystems.com to shop and for other great information. scalesoundsystems.com. Dan, you look like you could use a t-shirt.
What's wrong with the one I'm wearing?
Well, the only thing wrong with it is it doesn't have the Noka News Network logo on it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We have those. They're available at nokanews.store.
Well, where would I... Wait a minute. Is that the store that's online?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the home for all the Noka News merch that one would ever need or want?
Yeah, it's on the internet. It's nokanews.store. There's hoodies, the t-shirts like I mentioned, these coffee mugs that are great.
Well, okay.
Face masks.
If I had all this stuff, how would I carry it around?
I'm glad you asked, Dan.
Well, that's what I do, Rick.
There's a tote bag on there, too.
Whoa, a tote
Yeah,
bag?
you can put all that stuff right in there.
And how? And I just go to nokanewsstore.com?
Nope. Nokanews.store.
No, nokanews.store.
Yep.
See, that's why I don't have that shirt. I didn't know where to go.
Well, it's nokanews.store for all the Noka News merch.
Oh, man. All right, hold on a minute. Nokanews.store.
Nokanews.store for Noka News merch. Welcome back to the Noka News Network. I'm Ricky French. That's Dan Colley.
Yeah.
that guy. That was Dan Colley. Segment 2 of the show. We've got some fun stuff coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about Florida Man, a weird apartment in New York City, a lot of other fun stuff.
Hey, Ricky, remember how last week we didn't know if Scotland was part of Ireland or Ireland was part of the UK or the British Isles was part of Tanzania or some nonsense?
Yep.
Well, let's go to Wales. 1, 2?
What do you mean Wales?
Well, a Welsh utility company in Tintern, Wales, they were working on moving a utility pole for a customer when they discovered a tunnel. And they now believe that this tunnel is somehow was an ancient tunnel.
Oh.
Ooh. They
It's an ancient tunnel. Go ahead.
I suppose it. I don't know. The Welsh accent's really garbage. So they
Every accent I do is really garbage.
valid argument. They didn't know about this tunnel. It wasn't on any of the public records or any of the maps. So they called out the local historical society. They came out and saw the tunnel and were
big partying group, the Historical Society.
Yeah, it was like a giant kegger. They came out in big giant party vans, like Spicoli. They rolled out of the van on the side. Yeah. They got there and they had determined that they believe that the tunnel was somehow connected to the Tintern Abbey Iron Works.
Oh, okay.
And they were pretty excited about it. So at this point, they have backfilled the trench they started. They left it alone, and they moved the pole to another location.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, the Noka News Archaeological Bureau team they originally thought it was maybe an entrance to the famed Fraggle Rock, but no news on the Fraggles at this time.
Oh, boy. There's been no news about the Fraggles since 1987.
Not true. They made a new cartoon.
Okay, good for them.
And it was as horrible as that joke.
This is also out of the UK, and I know for a fact that Wales is part of the UK.
That's true, yes.
A company is selling bottled air for over $100 a bottle.
Are they selling it to Lord Scroob, President Scroob?
There's no word on that in this story. A UK company has sparked controversy online for selling glass bottles filled with, quote, the freshest coastal air for up to $105 per bottle. Coast Capture Air, that's what That's what Glade plugins are for, if you ask me. But anyway, Coast Capture Air started bottling fresh air and selling it as a souvenir and a talking point around the importance of clean air in the modern era. But then people from polluted areas of the world started buying it for practical purposes, inhaling the clean coastal air every day.
Did they really think that was going to make a difference?
They told the company that it helped counter the harmful effects of air pollution. So it kept selling and even attached a price tag that seemed staggering for what is essentially an empty glass bottle.
Well, technically, there's air in it. It's not empty.
Yeah, I understand that.
It wasn't as empty as the people's heads that kept buying it to try to counteract the pollution.
Why wouldn't you, if you got enough money to spend $100 a day on bottled air, why don't you just move somewhere else?
I don't want to move. I love the view.
To be fair, Coast Capture Air is far from the only company in the world selling people air. This story says you've probably heard of brands like Vitality Air, which I have never heard of anybody selling bottled or canned air. But Vitality Air sells canned fresh air from the Canadian Rocky Mountains, or Air de Montouc, which sells air from the French countryside.
That sounds horrible.
What?
The Canadian air smells like
air.
The Canadian air smells like Molson and pancakes, and the French one smells like bad cheese and even worse attitudes.
No, you cannot have the ketchup.
Well, there goes our one French listener.
Yeah, my last name is French. You would think we would go over swimmingly with them. But
not with those jokes.
Yeah. These are just two of many canned or bottled air businesses, but what sets Coast Capture Air apart the most from them is the price. It's a 700 milliliter bottle filled with air, 75 pounds, or about $105 US.
That sounds like a fantastic bargain.
Yes.
No, thank you. You want to stay over in the European part of the world, Ricky?
I sure would.
All right. How about we check in on Megan Kepi and a friend? They were both walking along a beach in Magister on the Shetland Islands.
Okay,
that's in Scotland,
right?
Which we established is part of the UK.
Yep.
Okay, so they were hanging out, taking a walk on the beach.
We didn't. It's part of Great Britain, but it's not.
I'm gonna get lectured by the wife
who
when I get
knows?
home. All right, so they're walking across the beach.
We're never going to look this up.
Well, that's why we're never going to be big over there, I guess. They're walking across the beach. They see a bottle.
Oh, more! They got more bottles.
They opened it up and it was fresh air. The bottle had a note in it. It was a message in a bottle.
Okay.
That's trying not to get sued by anyone for that one. The message was written in a language that she didn't understand. It was Faroese? Faroese.
That's a new one to me.
Well, it's a North Germanic language spoken by the residents of the Faroe Islands.
Oh, that Faroese.
Yeah, that Faroese. So she gets this letter. She can't understand it. She gets on the internet, the all-powerful internet, thanks to Al Gore, and she looks up the Google Translate basically version of it and realizes it's a note that was written 21 years ago.
Okay.
It comes from a scouting group from that area that made this note, threw it in the water. Oh. She was able to contact the scouting group and found out it was from a boy named Finn Johansson, and
pretty sure that isn't exactly.
There was a lot of sins on the end of this word I wrote down. Okay. And so far she's been in contact with the scouts. The scouts are attempting to make contact with this Johansson boy, and let him know that she found his message in a bottle.
Once she got it translated, did it say, "My name's Finn, and I'm trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty"?
Yes, it did. I'm sure. Every other damn message seemed to do that.
Oh man! So this we're gonna go back stateside, but it's a place named after somewhere in the UK, Worcester. But it's Massachusetts.
Oh, Greg, can I do my Boston accent again?
No.
Right.
No, you may not.
Right.
Plumber gets 12 years in prison for a marijuana growing operation. Massachusetts man has been sentenced to 12 years in prison for helping run a large-scale marijuana growing operation that used his family's plumbing business as a front. federal prosecutors say. In addition to his prison term, Thomas Laverty, 40, of Clinton, was sentenced Tuesday night to 8 years of probation in order to pay $3,100 in restitution, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston. He was convicted in January of 2020 after a 5-day trial of conspiracy to launder money, cultivating marijuana, and possessing marijuana with intent to distribute. He later pleaded guilty to an additional charge of theft of government funds for accepting food stamps, while earning about $5,000 per week through the pot sales.
So everything has gone down the drain for this gentleman.
Oh.
Okay, 2 for 2. Not to be outdone with the ever-growing and ever-constant rivalry between Massachusetts, Boston in specific, and New York. Let's go to New York.
Please do.
All right. So apartments nowadays everywhere are kind of insane, but in New York, they can be very pricey and you can get very little for your money. So when a woman felt a draft in her Roosevelt Island apartment, she wanted to know where it was so she could seal it up. Save that money on energy costs there, Ricky.
Of course.
So she tracked it down to her bathroom mirror. And it was I don't know why you get a draft in your bathroom mirror.
Right. That seems strange.
So she did what people in the industry would say, don't take your apartment apart. And she took the mirror off the wall and found a rather large hole into a dark black room.
Okay.
I know, right? It's terrifying. Right. So she decided to climb through this hole into this dark room like a dumbass. I wouldn't do it. And she wanted to know what was going on there. She found a whole unfinished second-story apartment, a two-story apartment, rather. The unit was dark. It was unfinished, and fortunately for her, also unoccupied.
Oh, that's good.
She said that she had to know what was on the other side of her mirror, and she was quoted saying, "Curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity is going to kill me."
Does she think it was Narnia or something? Why is she climbing through this dark hole?
I don't think curiosity is going to kill her. I think it's some homeless bum that's sitting there, drinking Mad Dog with a shank that might have did her in. So,
no wonder these apartments in New York are so small. They're hiding the big ones behind your mirror.
No wonder they're so costly. They build apartments where you can use the damn things. After she realized there was nothing going on there, she made sure the unit door was locked. And then she basically crawled back through her wall like a scene out of The Ring, I guess. Contacted the real unsung heroes of this whole story, multifamily maintenance guys.
She exited John Malkovich's head.
She fell out the side of the road. She got it all patched up by the maintenance crew, and I guess the people that run the building are going to come by and check it out and see what was going on.
Okay.
I think what they should do is find out why in the hell they're -1 apartment that they should have had on the books.
Right.
So that's a bit odd, I think. You want to go somewhere warmer?
Sure.
How about we go visit with our good friend, the Florida Man?
Florida Man.
The North Point resident Jonathan Edward Day, 41, was subdued by Florida Highway Patrol after allegedly throwing golf clubs from a work vehicle on Highway 75 near Fowler Avenue.
What's the deal with people throwing crap out of their work vans?
No one wants.
Last week it was the guy in Canada with the water bottle, and now this guy's chucking golf clubs on the highway.
I think the common denominator is people getting pissed off at work.
Apparently, but this guy couldn't have been that upset at work. He had his golf clubs with him.
Unless maybe he was a failed golf pro.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, why do you need a work van if you're never seen a golfer have a work van?
Maybe he just didn't want to work and went golfing and got busted or something. I don't know. It
Maybe he
say.
had a lot of clubs or something and he needed a van to carry him around. Who knows? Anyhow, what else happened?
Well, old Johnny Day there, he was finally stopped by the police and approached, at which point he came at the officer with a club.
He still had more.
He did throw them all out. I'm assuming it was a pitching wedge. He went after the officer. The officer told him to stop, drop the club. He complied, and everything was copacetic there for a minute. And then he decided to punch the cop. He tried to punch a cop and steal his radio.
What for? What?
Call for backup to kick his ass even more, I guess. Because
just want to let you guys know I'm beating this guy with a club.
Yeah, breaker, be on the lookout for me. I'm kicking this guy. Well, the officer had enough of his crap at this point and tased him, basically.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he lit him up. So afterwards, he was later charged with, let's see here, resisting arrest with violence, battery on an officer, throwing a deadly missile from a vehicle. In addition,
deadly missile.
Yeah, that dude, that club, that the 9-iron, that's what it was.
Well, I realize that it's not a safe thing to do, but deadly missile seems a bit of an exaggeration.
Would you rather get hit with a putter or a driver?
I don't know. I guess a driver. You would earn whatever wounds you got.
Well, the head's bigger. You think that it would dive to the ground quicker? Maybe I don't know. He was also charged with possession of marijuana, controlled substances, and drug paraphernalia. That probably explains why he was going after a cop's radio, because he was out of his gourd.
He was on PCP.
That's right. Shoot him. I love insane people going after people with makeshift weapons, Rick.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that going on, apparently. This one is out of New Mexico. Homeless man with a flamethrower threatens a gas station attendant.
Ooh, flamethrowers. Yes. My favorite.
Nice. This is Farmington.
When you absolutely want to do more than shoot someone, you just want to set them ablaze.
Insult to injury is with the flamethrower.
That's injury to injury is what that is.
Farmington police have arrested a homeless man on suspicion of threatening to burn down a gas station with a flamethrower.
Ricky, if you're a homeless guy, but you have access to a flamethrower,
yeah, I don't know.
I think we have an issue here.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they're handing them out these days.
You can't get government handouts, but you can't get flamethrowers as a homeless person. Okay.
Tito Robertson, 28, was being held Wednesday at San Juan County Adult Detention Center, according to the jail's website. Officers responded at 2:14 p.m., exactly on the dot, February 18th, to the Canoco on Main Street, where people reported Robertson was throwing rocks at the building and threatening to burn the place down, according to the Farmington Police Department's case report.
Okay, where's the flamethrower come in? You had my attention at flamethrower.
Right. Police interviewed the gas station attendant, who said the suspect had been going around asking customers for money. The attendant asked the man to leave, but he returned with a propane torch, according to a propane torch.
That's not a flamethrower.
That's not. No, this story is a huge letdown.
I know. I'm tired of being lied to by my media. We would never do that here at NOCA.
What was he going to do? Just repair the plumbing? It's not a flamethrower.
Don't make me melt your PVC.
I'm gonna rub flux all over you and really get that solder joint going. Let's see. He backed the.
Wait, did he get the quote unquote flamethrower after attempting to rob a Lowe's with a tank that he also didn't have?
Yeah, it was really just one of those Gator farm little
implement
wagon things.
Yeah.
He backed the attendant into the gas station and lit the torch as she yelled for him to stop. I mean, you don't want to get burned by a propane torch either, but it's hardly a flamethrower.
Yeah, I think hyperbole was in play here. Tito
advanced with the torch still lit and was yelling at her, saying, "I could burn you right now." and then threatened to burn down the whole store, the report said. A second store clerk yelled for Robertson to stop, but he turned toward her with the torch still lit and grabbed 8 lighters from a case and left the store.
The hell does he need lighters for? He's got a torch.
Yeah, this guy's really into fire, apparently.
Was this guy a caveman? And he was, fire, but good, fire good.
When police made contact with Robertson on South Main Street, he took off running. Police initiated a foot pursuit during which Robertson allegedly threw an object from his pocket, maybe a lighter, maybe another torch.
Maybe a bazooka at this point.
Police said Robertson slowed down until one of the officers pointed his taser at the suspect and ordered him to get down. So, tasers come in handy.
Well, that's good. I mean, we'll get more tasering going on. Okay.
Robertson got down and was taken into custody. Police were unable to locate the object he threw. After concealing his identity, Robertson was taken by police to the San Juan County Adult Detention Center, where he was booked on suspicion of aggravated assault, resisting, evading or obstructing an officer, petty larceny, shoplifting, concealed identity, and 2 warrants.
And lying to us about having a flamethrower.
Yeah, that's the real injustice of this story.
I know, you had me excited about flamethrower.
I don't know where a homeless guy gets a propane torch either, but the flamethrower was a real confusing.
Well, he could just steal that out of any kind of work van that also has golf clubs. So
he could maybe throw it out of a moving work van. That seems to be a thing that's going on these days.
It's very possible. Yeah, why didn't he throw it out of a work van? That seems to be the going MO nowadays.
Well, he threw something, probably one of those 8 lighters he stole, and realized I didn't need these.
I've got a torch. What do I need that for? I'm going to jail. What do I need a lighter for?
Could have at least grabbed some Funyuns or something.
Maybe a scratcher.
Yeah, right, yeah. Steal the lotto tickets.
Give me one of those them 5-hour energies. I need one of those too. Oh, damn it. All you have is that. I don't want that flavor.
Grapefruit? Ugh.
Yeah, no thanks. You don't have any sour apple? Forget it. What else you got? There's a lot of dumb people running around the world today, Ricky.
Yeah.
You got people pissed off that they're buying air. You knew better.
Well, they weren't pissed off. They were happy about it. They're just morons.
Okay, so you're going to have people that'll pay over $100 for an empty bottle of air. Why don't those same people, if you're listening, go over to our web store and get a nice shirt? It's a lot less than $100, and it actually is something.
It's useful.
Yeah, I think.
All right, that about does it for the second segment of the show today. We got our last segment coming up. Going to be some fun stuff with that one.
Yeah, we're going to go to Arizona and check out the craziness out there. We have including an entire hat trick of DUIs, some stolen Iridium. I don't think it was the Libyans this time. And I'm tired of all these MFing cats on my MFing plane.
Milk News Network.
Ricky, do you remember when you were a kid and you'd go to the video store?
Yeah, well, some of my fondest memories.
Right. So I loved going to the video store as a kid too. So I got to tell you, me and my buddy Charlie, we've been doing a podcast about action movies from the video store era.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're having a great time over there, Ricky. And every 2 weeks, we drop a new episode talking about the 80s and 90s action movies from when we were kids.
What's that podcast called, Dan?
It's Give Me Back My Action Movies, the podcast. And you can find it on your podcatchers every 2 weeks, along with joining the conversation in the Facebook group at Give Me Back My Action Movies. Just search us on Facebook. We're right there. And we've had a lot of fun so far doing it.
What movies have you discussed so far?
We've done Delta Force, we've done The Running Man, and Bloodsport.
Nice.
Yeah, so we were having a good time over there. Everyone join in the conversation, listen to the podcast at Give Me Back My Action Movies on Facebook, and get to the chopper.
Are you into model trains? Well, I'm not, but if you are, I've got a great suggestion, and that's Scale Sound Systems. Scale Sound Systems offers aftermarket drop-in speaker systems, LED conversion kits, decoders, parts, and installation services for model trains. Scale Sound Systems is an authorized ESU, Soundtracks, and TCS dealer and offers the best sounding HODCC speaker systems on the market. Find Scale Sound Systems on Facebook, visit YouTube for demonstration and installation videos, and visit them at scalesoundsystems.com to shop and for other great information. scalesoundsystems.com.
Long ago, when men roamed the earth wearing nothing but loincloths, things were dangerous. Things were cool and chilly, and things were also very uncomfortable, Ricky.
Why is it we can't do a minute-long commercial without you being a moron?
I was only a moron for like 20 seconds of that.
You do, I have to admit, you do make a good point, though. NoCanoes.store is the place to get all the No Canoes merch that you could want. There's t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, tote bags. It's all there at NoCanoes.store.
So if I wanted to wear a No Canoes t-shirt,
yes,
and then a No Canoes hoodie,
yes,
I could do that.
Yeah, I don't care what you wear.
Oh, but you did give me a weird look when I came in with this loincloth on. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, well, I've just come to expect it from you. Welcome back to the Noka News Network. I'm Ricky French with Dan Colley. The last segment of the show this week. You having a good time, Dan?
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking. Was it the dancing that clued you in?
Yes, it was the dancing that clued me in. You looked like you were cutting a rug over there, so to speak.
Well, I'm not actually. I was still sitting doing the whole thing, so...
Please be careful with the rug, Dan. I rent this place.
Fair enough.
Oh, apparently this pandemic has a lot of people getting hammered and driving their cars around.
What do you think my plans are after the show?
This is not advisable, Dan.
Yeah, no. The legal disclaimer: I will not be drinking and driving later on today. I'm just being an idiot. Ricky, go ahead.
Speaking of idiots, suspected DUI driver rates his impairment to scops. Whatever a scop is.
Who's impaired?
Shut up, Dan. I don't have to drive anywhere. I sleep here.
We set up a cot in the back for Ricky. He's also the night watchman.
Yeah, I got a Rottweiler. Got off these people at this zoo in China.
You sure it's not a wolf?
A suspected DUI driver rates his impairment to cops on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 12. A man suspected of DUI has been arrested after crashing his van. Oh, always with the vans.
That's why we're not getting a news van, Ricky.
I've owned many vans in my life, and I guess I am a van person.
Have you crashed and or thrown anything out of one?
No, not to my knowledge.
Well, give us some time. You're a young man.
That's not true. One time, I think the statute of limitations is up, and I can say this. When I was a young and an idiot, not much has changed, but I was younger and more of an idiot. A friend of mine and I pushed a console TV out of the back of a moving van.
Sounds about right.
One of those giant,
I'm just impressed you guys could pick it up and put it in the van.
Well, we were strapping young men at the time.
I see.
Anyhow, deputies were called to the intersection of 145th Street. This is in Burlington, Washington. In Burlington, Washington.
Washington. The thriving metropolis of
145th Street and 5th Place.
It's beautiful this time of year.
Yes. Sunday evening, after receiving a 911 call reporting a van had smashed into several parked cars, they found a driver still there who admitted to deputies that he had just come from a local bar and also been talking on the phone, which is not smart.
No.
Reeking of alcohol and failing a preliminary breath test, the driver was asked by deputies to rate his level of intoxication on a scale of 1 to 10, with 0 being completely sober and 10 being the most intoxicated he had ever been. Deputies said the driver rated himself as a 12. About a 12.
Yeah. How you had a few drinks tonight there, son? Yeah. Why would you 12? All right. That's...
Yeah, maybe that's the question he thought he was answering.
Yeah, we're done talking. Get in the truck.
He was given a blood draw and then booked into King County Jail. Got another couple of DUI winners here. A drunk man crashes into his drunk friend who crashed into a ditch who he was coming to help.
Okay, so the drunk person crashed.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay.
I'll explain it to you.
Because I'm confused.
This is out of Nashville.
Okay.
Gentleman by the name of Melville Arndt, as in...
Aren't going to get away with this one.
His driving privileges aren't currently active, I think is the case. 30 years old, and Natasha Nansel, 24, were both charged with DUI overnight when Natasha left the Fox Bar in East Nashville and crashed into a ditch.
She was in search of moose and squirrel.
Boy. She called her friend Melville
What's worse, the name Melville or my jokes?
I always like to call my friend Melville when I get in trouble.
Yeah, right.
She called Melville to come and assist. However, he struck her vehicle upon arrival. Both parties blew over the double of the legal limit, the legal blood alcohol limit. Metro Police responded to the crash at 12:04 on Thursday morning to a report of a vehicle crashed into a ditch. The driver of the crashed vehicle, identified as Natasha, was found outside her vehicle, and police note that she smelled of alcohol and admitted to looking at her phone. See, if you're going to drink and drive, at least don't mess with your phone while you're doing it.
Was she TikToking?
You need to focus. Yeah, once again with the TikToking. Before police arrived, she called her friend to assist her with the crashed vehicle. The friend was observed by police while at the scene, and he admitted to striking Nancel's crashed vehicle with his truck. He admitted to drinking, quote, 2 beers prior to arriving.
Yeah, as he was driving there, he was drinking 2 beers prior to arriving to that particular scene.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, on the DUI front this week...
a whole Lord of the Rings trilogy of DUI stories today.
Right. A Michigan State University police captain had a blood alcohol content of more than 3 times the legal limit.
Holy shit.
For driving when she was arrested last month on Interstate 96 in the Williamston area.
Wait, where was she an officer at?
Michigan State University.
Ooh, go Sparty. All right. Standing proud, Big Ten.
Captain Valerie O'Brien was, quote, extremely belligerent with a Michigan State police trooper who arrested her after she had stopped on the shoulder of the eastbound lanes near Williamston Road on the night of February 10th, according to reports. O'Brien's breath smelled of alcohol, and she refused to take a breath test, telling the trooper, "I'm not doing anything without an attorney," the trooper said.
That's smart. Okay.
During this time, O'Brien repeatedly said, "F you," and advised she was going to sue me, he said. She went on to say,
Less smart. Okay.
"I will own up to the fact whatever I blew was over the legal limit," he said. O'Brien had stated.
Don't admit to blowing anything, lady.
I don't give a shit if I get fired. I don't give a shit if I get arrested for drunk driving, she said.
Okay, so remember when I said smart about the lawyer thing? She just went downhill.
Yes. She got over that pretty quickly. She was taken to Sparrow Hospital and for a blood draw, and the result was her blood alcohol level was 0.25.
Holy jeez.
0.08 is the legal limit in most states, I think.
Holy crap.
So, yeah.
So she was beyond a 12.
She was about a 12, too.
She was more drunk than 12.
About a 15.
About a 15. Oh, okay. Well, that was pretty bad. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
this whole show has been pretty bad, Dan.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not the one looking for the next story like me. All right. I think we have to go to Arizona next.
Yes.
A
lot going on in the Southwest this week, too.
Yeah, it's been crazy down there. One would say buck wild. A 19-year-old Arizona man, Brandon Souls, really, really, really didn't want to go to work. The Coolidge Police Department says officers responded to a report of an injured man going in and out of consciousness. They found the 19-year-old Souls tied with a belt and gagged. He told the cops that he was returning home after running some errands and was grabbed and knocked out.
Okay.
They asked him why. He hypothesized that he was targeted because his father supposedly had hid lots of money throughout the desert.
Okay.
And marked them all with an X.
Breaking Bad?
So the young man was taken to the hospital where they discovered he had no head injuries. As the detectives kept looking into the story to try to figure out who the bad folks were that did this to him, they found no surveillance videos. They found no records from his cell phone that would corroborate. What's the word?
I believe the word you're very, very desperately searching for is corroborate.
Yes, none of that happened either. So finally they go, so they go and talk to this guy and they go, "Hey, what happened?" He then admitted that he just did not want to go to his shift at the tire store.
Well, I can understand that. That would make me want to choke myself and hit myself in the head.
Exactly. So he's been charged with false reporting, and according to Facebook, he no longer works at the tire store. I know that's a big shocker to you, but he doesn't work there anymore.
This is also out of Arizona. Phoenix man gets sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for stealing radioactive material.
Okay.
He pleaded guilty to use of a weapon of mass destruction.
Holy crap.
Pretty serious.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Prosecutors
wait, it's just so serious. Why are we doing this?
I don't know. That's a good question. Prosecutors said 27-year-old Jared Trent Atkins stole 3 devices containing the radiological material Iridium-192 from his workplace in April 2019. Where does he work?
I don't know, but isn't that the stuff that Marvin the Martian tried to use to blow up the Earth?
Yeah. Iridium. He also stabbed a gas station clerk just for good measure.
Okay. Well, way to bury the lead story. Good job.
Prosecutors said Atkins texted his coworkers telling them he had the dangerous devices and warned them to stay home until the devices were found.
Who wrote this story? Our story intern?
She has a name, Dan. It's Cody Ann. He was caught on surveillance footage near Scottsdale Fashion Square. He's at the mall and maybe trying to meet Doc Brown or something. I don't know. Sell him some iridium for the flux capacitor.
He was trying to go back to 1988, or was it 85? I feel really bad. I don't even know.
After a 2-hour standoff, Atkins surrendered. Authorities recovered all 3 devices from his vehicle, including the radiological material. He pleaded guilty to state charges of aggravated assault and arson and was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
Arson? Where the hell did the arson come into this story?
I don't know, man.
That story was written poorly.
Yeah, well, a lot of things we do around here are done poorly.
Well,
like pronouncing corroborate, for instance.
Remember when you had to teach me how to say philanthropical?
Well, I wouldn't have, because that's not philanthropic.
That's why I still didn't learn. A passenger plane in Sudan had to make an emergency landing just 30 minutes into its flight to Doha. The plane turned around and returned to Khartoum Airport. I can say Khartoum, though. Airport after the crew was attacked in the cockpit by a stowaway cat.
Oh.
They believed that the animal was feral. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. And had stowed away overnight while the Boeing 737 was parked for cleaning. The crew were unable to wrangle the cat, so they decided to make the emergency landing instead. They wouldn't have had this problem if Sam Jackson would have been on that plane.
He's tired of the MF and cats on the MF and plane.
He would have just sit there and screamed at it the whole time. What the hell do you think you're doing, cats?
Well, speaking of commercial airlines, we're going to get into a little bit of paranormal news.
Uh-oh.
What's that noise? That was paranormal, whatever noise you made.
I'm scared. It's music, man. You should have warned me before you started playing that in my headphones.
Yeah, it's the Fago version of the X-Files theme song. An American Airlines pilot reports seeing a mysterious cylindrical object over his aircraft in New Mexico. A startled American Airlines pilot reported a long cylindrical object in the New Mexico sky that came uncomfortably close to his aircraft, according to his radio transmissions to an air traffic control tower.
This song's uncomfortably close.
Yeah. The encounter occurred Sunday during a flight from Cincinnati to Phoenix.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there's no word on how much chili was on board. But,
or Pete Rose was on board.
The FBI is aware of the reported incident, the agency told the Albuquerque Journal in a statement, adding that its policy is to neither confirm nor deny investigations. Yeah, I've heard that one before.
That sounds about right.
It looked like a cruise missile type thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us, the pilot added. The communication was first reported and recorded by the Deep Black Horizon blog, which noted that the encounter occurred on the aircraft's flight path in the northeast corner of New Mexico. That's not it for UFO sightings this week. Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and his wife reportedly spotted a UFO.
Oh, shit.
On Wednesday, the quarterback claimed he and his wife, Emily Wilkinson, witnessed a real-life UFO while driving home from dinner. Almost 100%, Em and I just saw a UFO drop straight out of the sky on our way home from dinner. We stopped and looked at each other and asked if either of us saw it, Mayfield tweeted. Very bright ball of light going straight down out of the sky toward Lake Travis in Texas, this was. Anybody else witness this? He pressed his followers. Wilkinson, who has been married to Mayfield since July of 2019, opened up about the experience on her Instagram story. I'll be honest, we're so confused by it, she said in her story. All of a sudden, a light caught our eye, and on our right side, which is out of my passenger side window over the lake, it was a big light, and it was going straight from the sky down to the ground. We got home, and we're just extremely confused.
I'm extremely confused why Baker Mayfield saw a UFO and decided that he had to jump on his Instagram or wherever his social media was to ask his followers if they saw it. Yeah. Does he think they all live in Texas as well?
I don't know.
Huh.
You
think most of them are in Cleveland, which is not near Texas.
That whole UFO thing is going to make a great insurance commercial.
Yeah, according to all the insurance commercials, he lives at the stadium. Someone's lying to us again, Ricky.
So apparently UFO sightings are up 51% since the pandemic started, so I don't know what that means. But
Have any of the aliens thrown anything out of their moving work spaceships?
Well, they don't drive vans, so
that we're aware of. Have you ever seen a UFO, Ricky?
No, well, I don't think so. I saw something one time that was a little bit weird, but it wasn't like, it was very small, and it wasn't, I can't say that it wasn't something explainable.
I see. So we're going to leave that at that. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about an Iowa man facing up to 65 years in prison for forging postage stamps for his eBay business.
Okay.
An Iowa man is facing up to 65 years in prison for forging postage stamps on 28,000 packages.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and costing the United States Postal Office $250,000, according to the Department of Justice.
Yikes.
Bradley John Matheny. Have you noticed that every one of these people have three names when we see these stories?
Yeah.
It's not just John Doe or Steve Allen. It's somebody.
That's what they do. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was convicted on Wednesday of 7 counts of postage meter stamp forgery and counterfeiting, as well as 3 counts of export violations.
Okay.
I just tack those on there. Matheny is the owner of Matheny's.
I'm pretty sure it's Matheny.
Matheny's. It doesn't matter. He don't own anything anymore. An eBay-based business that shipped retail goods around the globe, which if you've ordered from there and you're waiting for something, I'm sorry to say, you're not getting it.
Probably not.
According to court filings, he relied on the USPS to ship items to his customers, but at a large financial cost. So in order to cut down on mailing expenses, he just bullshitted his way through it and attempted admitted in court to forging the postage meter stamps on the packaging. He told investigators his primary way of skirting shipping fees was predicated on abusing the trust of the USPS. He was not an approved commercial bulk shipper, but the U.S. Post Office would allow him permission to bring his mail and packages to the back loading dock instead of the front lobby.
So basically, this guy just weaseled his way into getting all these 28,000 packages or whatever past the people that were trying to get home from the post office.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention to this guy. So essentially, he faked the metering things and shipped these packages out. Which makes me wonder, maybe remind me to ask you, when are we getting that stamps.com promotion that we're supposed to be doing?
I don't know. It's hard telling when we're going to get any kind of promotions around here. But speaking of promotions,
that's a good point.
Though, I'd like to promote our merch at our merch store.
That's right.
NocaNews.store. We've got these wonderful mugs that, like I have over here with our logo on them.
Yes, your sweatshirt that you still won't let me touch.
T-shirts, face masks. tote bags.
The ever popular tote bag.
Like the damn NPR over here with the tote bags.
The tote
real,
bag
it's real official.
It is fantastic.
It's real official.
Also, we would like to...
Instead of helping public radio, you're helping us.
Yeah, exactly. Who likes public radio? Actually, I listen to public radio. Okay, we also want to promote our Facebook page. It's the Noka News Network on Facebook. You can check that out there, join, and kind of keep in the conversation of what you hear on the show.
Yeah, if you want to reach out and contact us, email us at newsroom@nokanews.com if you've got comments, story suggestions, suggestions that we pack this up and never do this again.
Yeah, so we've seen some of those already. So check us out on all the podcatchers. Obviously, you already have because you're listening to us. But depending on which one you're on, make sure you follow, like, or subscribe, or all three. It depends on which one you're on, what you can hit. But while you're on there, make sure you tell your friends. Help spread the word of the Noka News Network. Create the Noka News Nation. And, listen to us, please.
All right, that's all for this week. We'll be back next week with more news no one cares about on the Noka News Network.
Woohoo!
Noka News Network.